We're gonna start off with some Trump bullshit, cause why not? This is almost too good to miss. Started watching a little bit of it, obviously, just almost 2 minutes in into the segment from the Daily Show on this Trump appearance at some sort of at an event with some people that had some hard questions for him. And he doesn't have good answers. So you may. That time you see this video. There's no one watching this video. Alright. Make that full screen.
Very nasty question. Wow. I have answered the question. I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson.
Damn.
The Voting Rights Act.
For you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Wow. Trump was like, listen up, black people. You're always late. Your microphones are ghetto, and I'm Abraham Lincoln. I mean, I think he just won the black vote. For most politicians or anyone else on earth, that would have been a low point of the interview. But because it's Donald Trump, it somehow got worse.
Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she
Even
Indian
the audience is like laughing.
black?
She has always
But you know
identified as a black
what?
woman.
I
She went to a
respect either
historically black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe
I
that
think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
I don't know what's worse, that he thinks she turned from Indian to black, or that he thinks someone should look into that. Right? Who should look into that? Like, does he think the FBI is the federal black investigators?
Oh, no.
I don't think she turned from Indian to black, okay? She's Indian and black. Like, what does he think happens? When the time is right, Indians go into a cocoon and they play some Drake and they come out black. It's very clear that Trump doesn't quite know how to handle Kamala Harris right now. He's trying to find the angle of attack. And today, he was hitting her race. Yesterday, he was hitting her age.
She is younger. I mean, she's 60 years old. A lot of people, I didn't realize she was 60. I thought she was a little younger. But she's 60.
I guess Trump just discovered that black don't crack. I mean, this is going to be the first time he does birtherism as a compliment. Like, show us your birth certificate because you don't look a day over 50, okay? So just drop the skincare routine, girl. I bet Trump spent the rest of the day just Googling how old other black people are.
Like, I can see like a
Morgan Freeman, 200 years old, question mark?
like a pretty cool
To be
scar.
fair, Trump does have some substantive criticisms of Kamala, but he can't seem to say them without making it gross and personal. Like when he was asked about how she would do in negotiations with foreign leaders.
How would they consider a Harris presidency? Just in geopolitical.
I think they'll walk all over her. I think
so?
they'll look at her. I think they'll walk all over her. She'll be so easy for them. She'll be like a play toy. They look at her and they say, we can't believe we got so lucky. They're going to walk all over her. And I don't want to say as to why, but a lot of people understand it.
I actually thought my husband lost 10 pounds until I discovered his little secret. No matter how much my husband works out.
He's like, I don't want to say why she'd be a bad president, but, you know, the he and the hoo-ha and the fellas get it. I'm pretty sure Kamala can handle world leaders, okay? I mean, she did just overthrow the president of the United States. And also, nobody was easier to manipulate than Donald Trump. Like, foreign leaders just had to roll out the red carpet, and Trump treated them like a best friend. I mean, Saudi Arabia bone-sawed an American journalist, and Trump was fine with it because they let him touch an orb. I mean, I'm pretty sure none of this is getting to Kamala. Right now, she's on top of the world because she's enjoying life as the Democrats' new messiah.
Atlanta turned up and turned out for Vice President Harris, and a rap star came with a new slogan for campaign merch. Megan Thee Stallion and others made this the largest crowd of Harris's young campaign. More than 10,000 people filled a downtown arena.
Well, Donald, as the saying goes,
People filled a downtown largest crowd of Harris's young campaign. More than 10 slogan for campaign merch and turned out for Vice President Harris.
The Democrats' new messiah.
Atlanta turned up and turned out for Vice President Harris, and a rap star came with a new slogan for campaign merch. Megan Thee Stallion and others made this the largest crowd of Harris's young campaign. More than 10,000 people filled a downtown arena.
well, Donald, as the saying goes, if you've got something to say, say it to my face.
Thousands waited hours to see Harris speak.
Does she make it easier for Democrats to win Georgia in November?
Yeah, we're so excited. We don't have to vote for Joe Biden anymore. Boo, Joe Biden, boo. You know, I do feel bad for Biden. Like, everyone's going crazy for Kamala, and he's at home with COVID going, who is Kamala? And I've never seen so much joy for a statistical tie. This is like when people cheer after their plane lands. It's supposed to land, okay? That's the bare minimum. For more on the enthusiasm around the Vice President, Harris, we go live to one of her rallies in Houston with Michael Costa.
Thanks, Ronnie. Thank you.
Michael.
I'll probably do some Fartnite. Let me.
It's electric, Ronnie. I haven't seen Democrats this excited since they came out with that 5th COVID booster.
Okay, wow, they do sound pumped, but can the Democrats build on this momentum?
They definitely can, Ronnie, and there's only one way to do it. Kamala Harris has to drop out.
Wait, what do you mean she has to drop out? Why? Everyone's enthusiastic about her.
Yeah, well, the excitement's not about her. It's about the newness. You know when that new kid comes to your school and everyone's like, oh, what's his deal? He's
man,
not
that screen
actually
doesn't look
cool. He's just
Should
new.
make that
He's
smaller
just
then.
another loser whose dad happened to get a job near your school. So quit fawning about him, Becky Sullivan. Look, the point is this.
Just do something
Newness
like
goes
that.
away, as will this enthusiasm for
this
Kamala.
over here
It's
a
not going to
little
be
bit.
Megan Thee Stallion at her next rally. It's going to be Katy Perry, and not Teenage Dream Katy Perry either. It's going to be her new album, the one that the gays won't even listen to.
Okay, but if Kamala steps away, who will replace her?
Who cares? The new nominee doesn't matter because the Democrats should replace them too. Every week, a new candidate, new excitement. Republicans won't be able to keep up. Oh, you think Gavin Newsom is unfit to be president? Who cares, bitch? We're with Pete Buttigieg now.
Okay, I mean, I do like Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah, well, too bad he's out because now the candidate is Twisters.
Wait, the movie or like the actual tornado?
It doesn't matter because now it's Gretchen Whitmer.
Okay, Costa, when does this end? Okay, who's actually going to be the nominee on Election Day?
Well, after Whitmer and Shapiro and Tom Hanks and that Pommel Horse guy, they're finally going to reach the last possible nominee, Joseph Robinette Biden.
Wait, Biden again? That's why this whole thing started.
Yeah, exactly. And as soon as he takes the oath of office, he resigns in favor of his VP, Kamala Harris, and the excitement loop begins
Kamala.
again, Ronnie.
Wow, how very Buddhist. Michael Costa, everybody.
I'll always take care of you.
So many commercials. See if we can find anything else decent. I still got Hulu for a second. Let's see what we got going on. Oh yeah, the UFO stuff. You know, I'm a sucker for UFO bullshit. I really like that.
When you get approved with Drive Time, you get the real deal. It's the Drive Time Real Deal Maker.
Pump the brakes, Tim.
I can't. I'm too excited.
It lets you customize the real down payment and monthly payment of the car you want to buy.
That's super smart. I make the deal myself.
It's your car. You should make the deal you want.
And the deal you make on your phone is the deal you pay. It's that simple. You make the deal yourself. Let's go!
Then just go to the dealership for a haggle-free purchase because you already made the deal yourself. Get the real deal at drivetime.com.
Do a round of the Fartnite, and oops, sorry about that. I'm blazing up quite a bit. Grabbing that local THCA. Gets me by. I don't have to deal with shit. Why is this not doing anything? What happened? They know I haven't paid them shit. Ah. Go.
Drive Time has a big announcement.
Again.
And even
Ugh. And now it's getting stuck again. Why? Maybe I can't watch it. Whoops. Another one. What's going on over here? Another advertisement. Damn. Maybe I'll try that first person shooter again. Give that a go, see what's up. Play around. I'm gonna quickly switch over to some guitar stuff. Man, none of them are. Okay, so time to get out of that, and let's go to I'm gonna go back to YouTube, watch clips, I guess. YouTube clip. Oh yeah, quad cortex. Everyone's been like trying to do guitar stuff. New firmware.
At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to Ola Testing. Today I'm trying out the new Quad Cortex plug-in firmware. Neural DSP has just made the Quad Cortex compatibility beta available for artists and testers out there. So you're probably going to see a bunch of new videos today. I'm not getting paid, I'm not sponsored to do a video, but I am so to try out this firmware. Since I am an owner of both the Quad Cortex and the Arctic. Something that we sort of have promised or talked about. In the unit. Perfect if you already owned a couple of them. And then when they launched the Quad Cortex, people were mad because they couldn't. The option simply wasn't there. While in reality, if they just spent a little bit more time with you, they could find all these the archetype plugins in the quad codecs already. You just had to dig in deep and know which one was which. But still, it's not the same as having access to your plugins. Anyways, today I just want to quickly test it out and see if I can get the quad codecs to sound exactly like the archetype Pliny X. It's become sort of like a staple for my Sun plugin. On the unit itself, this is what it looks like. You have access to a new section now when you make a plugin. And in there you can find the plugins you purchased using Tool or iLog and the individual components of that. The amplifier plugin, the shimmer reverb plugin, for instance, the octaver, and out here in the box it has a small little section above the I copied my 3D drilling preset that I have in Arc on my computer to the quad codecs. I made 2 separate single passes, one with the Pliny plugin on top, going to send 1 and 2. That goes into 1 track, and then I have a complete DI track going up to 3, going into 2. Dude, this is a little bit confusing. That means that I'm going to be able to compare the 2. This is how it sounds.
That's a Pliny.
To me, it sounds pretty identical, I must say. The only thing is that I feel like the low end of the quad codecs is indeed sounding a little bit different from the plugin from here. All right, so I did unmatch to take a look at it right here. Basically shows that one little bit of low end that the actual plugin. So there is a little bit of a difference. But at the same time, I take a look at the match. To my ear, I can't really hear that much. Even though Newell told me a long time ago that the amplifiers of the plugins are available in the quad codecs, this will make it a lot easier for people to find, you know, and make their exact copy of the plugin. It's going to be a lot easier to just pinpoint what amplifier was used in the respective plugin. And actually, I think my favorite part is that since I can take different blocks from different plugins, you know, I can basically create my favorite plugin or replicate blocks from different plugins as one preset on the quad codec. I really like the whammy of the Goldra plugin, for instance. I just click here and I put it right there. And
that was a
use
fucking
the
chase, man.
I think that's kind of cool. I mean, technically, I can do the same on the computer,
Need
but
that
then I have
other
to have
weapon up front. Like, I need you right here, I need you right there.
So there you go, short little test of the new quad codecs firmware. The firmware also included other features as well, but I guess a bunch of other YouTubers will probably cover that. So, goodbye.
The biggest difference between my previous internet plan and 8 gig is how fast I can. When I'm uploading things to my editor or to my team, the last week I can 8,000 upload speed, which makes my uploading flawless.
Ah, fuck. Getting my ass kicked here. be a better
We're here
the
today.
Mr. Ola
This is
England.
Max from Neural.
I need some
I'm
better
excited
weapons
about
too. This is not
This has been a
working
while,
out for
hasn't
me.
it? Good to see you. Thanks for coming.
I feel like we
Were you gonna do that, weren't you? Yeah, I saw you. I saw you doing that thing.
I feel like we never get to hang out in the UK. We always just see each
Fuck.
other in
Nanaheim. Nanaheim.
Run.
Nanaheim. Finally, after how long has it been?
It feels like forever, but QC's been out since 2021,
Yeah.
2024, and now plug-in Factory CoreOS 3.0
3.0.0
is finally
What the
here. At the
fuck
moment, this
was
is
that?
1A factory preset, the Brett 2203, which we all love, like we've come to know and love it. But this is a slightly updated version showing us some new features. Fire and tap here to do it directly. Obviously, change the UI somewhat here.
Yeah.
The presets here is a new one. Plug it in. Tap out that. So we were playing it because.
Because it is so
when CoreOS 3 has yes.
Oh yeah, we're editing. We're editing it as we film it.
So we're launching two plugins at first, and then we will very quickly release as many as we can, as fast as we can. Our catchphrase has become soon, but we really need it. So
the NAM, that was brilliant. I love that.
The NAM bit. People still message us like,
what's the name? Yeah, people can't let go, can they?
We're launching both Architect Gojira X and Architect Plenty X.
And is that something that you have to own these plugins? Am I right saying you have to own these plugins, or you don't get any plugins for free with this when it comes out?
Every QC owner is entitled to one free plugin.
Right.
We're giving away, I think our marketing and finance team are giving away something more than €5 million worth of plugins. Wow. Not only is it
Yeah.
not just saying that.
That's a great community.
Fuck. Shit.
Where I find products.
Yeah. But that just goes to show that it's the product do everything. Unless you want it to
I don't have anything left in terms of.
Preset from Architect 20X. We're a lot of attention to detail into how we lay out like the graphic interface and like the 3D models. And our 3D modeling team, they're amazing. But those are designed to be viewed on screen and quite importantly designed to be interacted with a mouse and with a keyboard, not quite a touch screen. And the other thing as well is that the use case for plugins is very good live. Obviously, there's outliers to that, we do.
Yeah.
So, you know, what kind of font, like how readable is the font on black knob and black the situation that
See that? Alright, we're there. We're over there, yeah. Okay.
Being able to see your signal flow, right, and also being able to see
Oh shit, man. No mercy. Just fucking straight brutality.
Yeah. The other thing with our plugins, whether we make it with an artist or whether we make it with an amp brand, when we do that, we fix and determine laid out. So this is how we designed it with Plenty. He wanted his compressor before his octave, before his stop. He wanted delay before the MPs.
Oh shit. The fuck was that?
Might be my opinion.
Sometimes.
I can remove I could put a split in here. But that's not something you can do in a plugin. So being able to have stuff separate.
Right.
That's the joy of Core Cortex is limitless. It's able to do what you want to do and get out of your own way to play guitar.
I've always been interested. Clearly, what amp is this stuff? It's not an amp, guys.
Well, so he's used for a long time. The reason we don't name any of our like amps, the reason we don't work for like the brands specifically, or we don't name like, oh, it's
Man, why do I look
this,
like
or
all
it's
crazy? I look
it's a
like this.
Freeman, it's a Marshall, it's a Victory.
whatever. Yeah.
The reason we don't do that is because
Let me see if I
although
can
we
flip it.
try
I feel like
to
if I
recreate
flip
and
it,
like build their sound as
if
they
I
want
flip
it,
this
we don't
thing,
just
it'll
leave
look
it
better
at
in the,
what already exists. Rabia's plugin is a fantastic example of this. So Rabia wanted
this guy
his,
up real quick.
his Krakens, kind of no secret, that's what those amps are.
Yeah.
What is
But with
it?
changes that you couldn't do in the physical realm, so he wanted, like, I'm pretty sure there's a presence in there that wasn't in there before. Is it like a thump or like a low end thing? And then there's also two like EQ switches at the start, and that's something that doesn't exist in the real world. When it comes to, you know, when we did the Mesa Boogie Suite, the mission there is that it has to be exact. Like there's not, it has to be how it is in the physical realm, and that's why it says Mesa Boogie, it says 2C+, it is what it is. So when it comes to 20, when it comes to Rabia, Nolly, you know, dream bigger, darling. Like what, if you could have your amp do something that it doesn't do, what would it be? Because we're trying to make a product that they will genuinely use day to day, and make something that is genuinely useful for them writing music.
But so this is the Pliny. I'm not Pliny. Never will be Pliny. And I'm playing Les Paul. But you know, so this is his default.
This is the default patch. So if you load up, an instance of Architect 20, it's either in your DAW or in standalone.
Yeah.
This is how it sounds. This is what it is.
So that's just his kind of.
So.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So what we've done is we've included all of our like factory presets and Pliny's own presets. This one particularly.
Let's hear one. What is this?
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It's the name of a cloud.
It's the name of a cloud.
Yeah.
What kind of cloud? What does that rain then?
Cumulonimrod? I don't know.
But what comes out of that cloud?
Reverb by the sounds of it.
It's very jazzy.
Oh yeah. Or
Oh no, let's cancel that.
He is.
Or
Cancel.
good buddy Rabia Masad has made something Angry Octave.
Oh, so you got all of these. Whoop. That's for beer slingers.
You have to chew your mouth sideways when you do it.
But this is the, so you get access to all of the artists who has made presets on here as well.
When you download the plugin, you get factory presets from us, you get presets from Pliny that he's made, and then you get all of the artists we've invited to do that. So all of the presets you would get
There's another
when you download
video game
are
that's
here.
And it was pretty simple, so the process, because I did it on mine, where you
this
you
is
have
based
to
on.
if you're logged in on on your website and the plugins you've got, as soon as you log in with your login details on here, it just comes up and there it is, and you just click it and that's it.
That's it.
It's super simple. I love all of that thing you got with the app. If nobody knows about that, there's a little app where you can go and follow your artists and download patches and stuff. It's super cool.
It's
thing. It's like a little community. There's more in the new update.
There's more in the new update. It's a massive overhaul, but a lot of it's kind of behind the scenes. But you feel it in things like the keyboard is genuinely faster because it gets faster every time.
It seemed it faster when I was using it at home as well.
It's because you get more efficient every time. But we've done things like you can now side tune things. Right. So you can do side tune compression. You can use side tune upgrades. You can use it in Nova or wherever you want to use side tuning.
That's cool.
So we've made that available. We've made new interfaces which let you blend in parts of the you have more flexibility and control over how much you can blend in the device. One of the funniest things I think we've done is so we've included the transpose block.
Right, yeah.
So exactly the pitch shift block. It's just a single control to match what's on the plugin.
Nice. Am I not moving? Damn. I get blown up.
That's insane. That is insane. That's
the most metal I've heard you sound.
What, with a blue stick?
Like, hey, maybe there's a market for
Whoa.
Do you know what? I appreciate that you downpicked all of that. That's very authentic.
It's very authentic. It is an impressive piece of kit, and it's. I guess you guys have to make something that's also future-proof for a long time. You know, you make the hardware that has to be able to stand the test of time with the updates you're bringing along. It's almost like an iPhone, you know, where then you get 16 and then 17. There's more and more in it.
I would like it. We want you just to have one.
That's what I meant was, you still get updates. To be able to update.
Our dream, honestly, is to support this.
Yeah.
I'm excited for people to get these plug-in devices and the iTunes stuff, because
Wow, this one right there. Where's a better gun?
Found, or what I've seen with like, a lot of artists, is they're able to try less guitars.
Yeah.
You said 17 guitars on there. So you had like a main and
Fuck. Man, I was firing some shots at her. Trying to take her down. She's too brutal.
A main and a spade of each. So slim down how many guitars they have to travel with because they can just transpose.
Yeah.
So they'd be able
Oh shit. Yeah, this is fun with like more people. Why am I not moving?
And then the next pitched up or like it'll be in standard treatment, even though he's playing just one guitar.
Someone's doing a Bluetooth attack on me. Oh.
You know, a young player at home or not even a kid, if you have one guitar and you don't want to restring another one.
Yeah.
Whoa, what the fuck? Person had some crazy shit. What? One shot to the dome. Come on. See, it's like lagging. Oh man, I got lucky.
And then you just kick in another whatever you can have two different amps as well, which is that mixed plug-in with one of your own captures, for instance.
Yeah, you can.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, so if we create a new preset here.
Yeah.
And that's a little folder that has
nerfed.
Obviously, we're launching with 2 plugins, but more will probably very soon.
Get in the.
Do the 20 crunch, right?
Yeah. So so you need a cap.
Well,
with that, what's that do? So you can take any cap.
You can take any cap.
Oh man, that was nuts.
If I take a split here and then do this. Now
I got one kill? What was my one kill? Oh no, I did get one kill, yeah. No, the one shot factory, I guess, man. I'm done.
I can't really read this. I'm so bad.
I'm deep fried.
So JP2C.
Right, that's that job, not the other job.
And so now you're mixing plugins with stock devices.
And you can have one, so
oh fuck! Just like that, one shot, one kill. That guy, that fucking Catwoman person's gonna have the drop.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, my
let's see, so
so you can
talk. So you put like that on. So now one amp has got reverb and the other one doesn't.
Yeah. Well, little wet dry action. Let's say we want.
What is that?
Plenty's plug. Let's take that.
So you can pick that compressor.
Oh!
It's not just the amp.
What is that?
So if you got his plug-in and you really like that compressor, but you've got the Marshall in here, whatever, the 22.3,
Oof.
just use his compressor. That's so cool, man.
Or if you really like Plenty's amp, but you don't have his reverb, and you want something a little darker, then you could use, for example. So,
do you get to stand on the side of some French chalet or whatever with the harness behind your back?
It does not come with a safety harness.
It doesn't come with the guy in blue.
Can you imagine
painted blue?
trying to do that show with all the
Fuck
fires?
was that?
Also don't fall and die.
What's in the box?
From Tide, the #1 brand used by dermatologists. No irritating residue, no dyes, no perfumes.
Don't want a desk-bound 9-to-5 job? Universal
I don't fucking see shit.
Technology program can teach you how to diagnose,
I'm just gonna have to go out there.
repair, learn skills the automotive industry needs, and train to become a pro. Visit UTI.edu.
You train to become a pro. I don't want to hear this.
Here's a cool thing we can show as well. So like I've mentioned earlier, we made these blend devices. So if I add an overdrive.
What is this pasted from clipboard? What is that then as well?
I copied the so you can copy and paste devices to make it.
What's that? Is that a new thing?
No, it's been introduced. We've had that for a long time.
See, I'm just go like I like that amp, I like that thing. Reverb done. I'm really simple like that.
But that's perfect. Like that's. Do you know who else is like that? John Connor.
Yeah.
And he's amazing at just like that, and then
yeah.
and he spends 10
yeah, because we have him here. You know, if you want to watch the videos, like and subscribe and all that stuff. But he just goes. He always uses the jazz chorus. That's it. I love
what the fuck?
For what it is and what it does and what I can do with it.
Yeah.
It's so user friendly now, and it sounds so good. Yeah. I did the El Vivo tour back in 2007 or whatever.
That was creepy. I got creeped out by that.
And I did a whole world tour with that. I had my amp with me and my pedal board, but we ended up just using that because we were in ears and so amps on stage, and it was fine at the end of the day. And it sounded okay back then. It's a long time ago. This stuff is getting better and better and better. Like, yeah.
That was sick.
Touring with amps now is nightmare. Because people in front of house guys always like, oh, I don't like that. And there's a convenience with in having this, and you can put your set list up, and you can have all the stuff.
Ooh.
Walk out with your solo, and you don't have your tech coming over to the.
I gotta jump. Cause you can jump, right? Can you? I don't know. I can't tell. You can run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. It's crazy.
Absolutely 100%. And I would use it if I had to go back earlier. I think I would definitely use this if I had to go out on the tour. If it wasn't a little bit tour, then maybe it would be a different thing. But if I'm here, we can't hear each other anyway.
Yeah.
So all it has to be in India, and it has to sound good, it has to be consistent every day, it has to be used, and it has to be a product that I can trust from a company like you guys, which are bloody amazing people, all of you.
Oh.
No, you are, because that's so important as well, that the brand and the people behind it are someone you trust, and you feel like I can work with you. Ryan, for instance. Me and Ryan talk about a lot about all this stuff all the time. And it's, we are old school sort of amp guys, but we get it. amazing. Oh, you know, there's no right or wrong. You know, it's just your way. Do you, right?
Why add in, since you're a bluesy guy, we'll add in a blues driver. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to smash the gain like that and the volume. Right now,
that's a bit too...
If I now...
That was good.
Set the source to input 1. Now...
Yeah.
It's now removing 100% blending.
Move.
Right. So that's like if you have a blend on a
Oh, so close. I had her in the sights. She's got there quick. Ah, fuck. Too fast.
If you want to, like, for example, if you want to set your reverbs and bass, say blend
them in. You can do that with the expression as well. Yeah. Anything is anything you can think of here, you can add to an expression, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything.
I mean, multiple. Yeah. So if I wanted to set same expression pedal, same blend, and that's it. And you do this, and you've got a mix for anything. One, but you could do it with anything.
I mean, when you think about how much money on a board, you know, that you can spend easily. I mean, an overdrive is 300 quid, and you can spend £1,000 before you even spend it.
Ah, man. Some battles. Some battles.
And this is out now. Free to download.
This is out now. Free to download.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. I'm excited to see your
Ah.
Okay.
You've done that to it. So
what for guitar?
So we've done pitch to it. So that's chromatic at the moment.
Ah, finally got my man. The guy was getting away from me so much.
I can do that without it. So that's people are
the band actually called Staff. Create crazy vocal effects and like weird distortions, a bit like like it. This is what I'm saying. You never know what's going to turn out.
Oh, fuck. Oh, I got it. I got it. Get out of here. Get out of here. I am fucking shit up right now, bro. Oh, shit.
I'm excited for people to check out. We are genuinely
That's it. Oh, I ended the round like that? No way. Okay, now we got 11. I had 11 kills. Somebody else had 20, so no head. All right.
Let's jump in on another.
Oh no.
Play some Gojira. I don't know any Gojira.
I want to get it. How do you get out of this?
Let's see.
What's the thing? What do you do?
Joe Duplantiers' rhythm.
I want to leave the game. I need to move on.
Right in your face. That'll go right through an audience, like mid-range punch right in your.
I guess.
I don't know what to play. Do you know that? That's proper.
I was gonna find you. I was gonna find you a nice like ambient thing.
I can play blues with this. So let's play instead.
Go for that one. Whoa.
What?
Go for that one. 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 Go for that one.
play some.
If you want.
Yeah.
Plays all that stuff.
Plays all that stuff.
Fuck.
Like Gojira.
All that
What the hell is this guy doing in there? Being creepy.
Sounds great. Sounds great. It's not my kind of tone, you know, but it sounds great.
Oh, fucking hell.
I'm gonna put some Gojira on.
That was brutal.
Coming in showing us this is help you guys out there. Get on it. Tag these guys on Instagram and make sure you show us the now you wanted this. Here it is, right? We've done it.
Woo. Somebody has a Gatling gun.
Thank you so much for coming in, man. It's always a pleasure. We'll see you soon. Thank you, Max.
Thank you so much.
Tents. Where are they? What the hell? Just ran out. Fuck. Let's get my ass kicked. That's why I want to leave. I'm kind of tired of doing this. Pretty intense. Ugh.
Even in your mission, dare to dish differently.
Ah, man. It was close. It was close.
What's up, everyone? Andrew Bain here, and on today's video, we're going to be talking about my most anticipated feature of the Neural DSP Squad, which you can see built onto my rack right here. So Neural DSP is constantly updating their product, and now they have released the Core OS 3.0 for the Quad Cortex. And what this does, among other things, is it allows you to use Neural DSP's plugins on the Quad Cortex itself. This was a highly anticipated feature, and honestly, one of the main reasons I wanted one of these for myself way back when they released them. So as you may or may not know, I already use a ton of Neural DSP's plugins across all of my videos, and I also use the Quad Cortex live for my band Carcosa's live performances. So obviously, I'm very excited to finally be able to use some of the plugins on the Quad Cortex itself. It's already what my band used on some of our studio album recordings. Our first album was all using the Core various singles after that, we're almost always using the Neural DSP Gojira plugin. And with this newest update, two of the plugins that got ported over to the device are the Gojira X and Plini X plugins. So naturally, I'm obviously going to rebuild the tone that I used on my computer, but on the Quad Cortex, using mostly Gojira elements. So if you are like me and have been anticipating this feature on your Quad Cortex, we're going to take a look at how you might do that. So in this video, I'm going to build a tone from scratch using elements from the plugins on the Quad Cortex, and then I'm going to do a full one-take live playthrough of my band Carcosa's song. So with that being said, let's go to the desktop view so I can start building this tone and you can watch how I do it, and then let's get on to the performance, shall we? Okay, so now we are over at my desk, and we're going to be doing this video using the Cortex Control software rather than having a camera showing at the Quad Cortex. I think this looks better.
Fuck. Can't land any shots.
Anything you do in the Cortex Control program, so
Sorry, guys.
making a preset that's reflected on the device itself, it's just easier to see in my opinion and a little easier to manage. So we're going to start off with here. I've saved
I got away with that. That was like luck of the draw.
Going on. We have the input of the guitar going to every possible output. First and foremost, the awesome thing about this update is obviously you can mix and match different things from different plugins, as well as other stuff that's already included in the Quad Cortex, because obviously it already has a bunch of different amp sims, cab sims, so on and so forth. They're already included, so it's really cool because you can use elements from the Gojira plugin with default elements of Quad Cortex, and so forth. That's going to be even cooler in the future. little bit cumbersome, so it's going to be really cool to do. So before we get into it, the first thing I always do, very important, is
Oh, fuck. I was so close.
right now, so we go down to utilities. I always use the adaptive gate personally for 100% noise reduction. I do this on every single tone, so I'm just going to go ahead and add it without even checking it because I know I'm going to need it. So next up, let's start off with
Oh, man.
amp sim. So we're going to move over one block over here, and as you can see on the top of my screen here, there's a new section called plugins, and this is where you're going to be able to see any of the plugins that you own. So in my case, I own all of them, and the two plugins, they will show up here. So from this menu, we got a drop-down menu for each plugin. We're going to go to the next section, and this is going to show you all the different things included in your plugins that you can use on this device. So we already know we're going to need an
Ugh, damn, that was so much.
Move over one block, and then of course add a cab. Again, you can use any cab with your preset, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to stick within the Gojira plugin and just use
bait.
cab 2. So those are the two things that you already know you're going to
I'm
need.
literally.
And a cab. So I'm going to grab my guitar and hear what it sounds like without even touching anything. For this video, I'm using my Aristides 080S beautiful swirl guitar with a single Glen M8 pickup tuned down to drop E. Let's plug it in and hear how this sounds by default, shall we?
Oof.
So it already sounds pretty sick, but obviously we're going to do way more than that. So the next thing that we're going to need, I always like to have some kind of overdrive in front of the amp, even though I know it's hard to have to do it anyways. So again, you can add any overdrive that you want. So for the purposes of this video, let's stick with 01. So you got
That one always gets me.
that I do every single time I make a tone. I turn the distortion
Sono head.
and tone up and volume up. I do this on basically every overdrive pedal, and I know for sure I do it with the Gojira plugin, so we're just going to go ahead and do that right away. Next up, after the cab sim, I usually like to have some kind of equalizer. I don't know if I'm going to end up using this. It depends how much I like the tone out of the box. For this, we're not going to go to the plugin.
He was about to kill me.
The standard EQ that's included in
Okay, how do I get out of
Let's
here?
go with Graphic 9.
I want to leave.
Sure. Okay, and that's pretty much all the building blocks of a tone right there.
No.
Again, this is without really editing anything at all.
I don't want to do that. I want to get out. How do I get out?
Again, I am so
There's gotta be
this built into this device.
a way
but I'm not quite happy
for me to get out of here.
Even further because this was just too.
I
I feel
can't.
like we can do more.
No.
You know what I mean? So the only two things up 100% noise reduction on the adaptive gate at the very front, and then on the I've done tone at max and level at max. But for the amp and the cab and the EQ, we haven't touched anything, so let's go ahead and start messing with that. So when we open up the amp sim, we can see all the gain, bass, middle, treble. So the interesting thing about this is it should basically mirror what is already in the Gojira plugin. So I actually have it open with my existing presets.
This is pretty cool.
Is take a look at the things I have on this amp here, and basically just copy it. See what it sounds like. We got the gain at about 40%, bass at 60%. Let's go ahead and do that. See what it sounds like. Next up, we got the mid at 60 and treble at like 55.
Oh man.
And the depth of 6 as well. So pretty much I have almost everything at 6 in front of me. I'm very happy. And now with those changes,
Whoa. This is just all out war. Oh my god. Just getting wrecked. The violence is unstoppable.
Okay, next up we're going to go over to the cabinet settings. Honestly, the amp already sounds really good. So in the cabinet settings, of course, you have all the pulse response, adjust the levels, the positions, and so on and so forth. We're going to leave both center pan, as you can see here, because I'm using and I'm going to try to change this condenser for 1.
Whoa!
Try the dynamic 421 instead and hear what that sounds
like. Oh, that's so much fun. But I gotta play guitar. Oh man. I need to quit somehow.
Definitely get a little bit clipping or like bottoming out on the low end. I'm gonna go back to the one right there, and
fuck. God damn it.
Okay, we're gonna go over
Shotties.
So again, in this section, obviously this is some additional shaping. This isn't exclusive to the Gojira plugin, but nonetheless, it's useful to have. For H320 in particular, I personally don't like having low end almost at all, so I like to reduce that like so. That's going to help get rid of a lot of that like bassy kind of clipping and bottoming out that's happening when I palm these especially. I also like to reduce the 250 hertz range a little bit because that's where a lot of the snare drum hits are when in full mix at least. And then 4 kilohertz is usually another problem area on guitar tones that I don't usually like because it has that nasty high pitch frequencies that I don't know, I just don't think sound very good.
I want to get out of here. There it is. What the fuck? Ah.
I dropped my pick. Okay, so I think that
Yeah.
already sounds pretty good.
Return
I'm just
to
going
lobby.
to A-B it and just turn it off and on while I'm playing around here.
I kind of want that snack.
Okay, so that definitely helps a lot, especially with that high-end frequency. Like when I turn it off, it sounds like super trebly, and with the EQ on, I feel like it tames it a lot, so I definitely like how that sounds. The only other thing that I think I might try is just add back a little bit of 500 hertz, just because it gets a little bit sucked away by that 250 hertz band.
I'll go munch out. Be right back.
Okay, that sounds pretty good to me. Just like a tiny bit of that back just to get that curve slightly back to neutral. Okay, so honestly, even though I haven't really played around with this tone too much, this is already basically what I expected this to sound like because this is how my Gojira plugin preset sounds on my computer anyways, and that's pretty much exactly what I wanted, so this is a great thing. Of course, you can go way more in depth with this stuff and add way more blocks. There's so much more space for tones, but honestly, my tones tend to be very, very simple. I don't really like having a ton of options in there. I like getting to the point as quick as possible. I'm all about efficiency, and all I'm doing is playing low-tuned, dumb caveman riffs, so it works for me. So honestly, I'd be pretty happy to move on from this point. Like, instead of talking, I'm just riffing around because I think it already sounds sick. So that pretty much covers it. If you're familiar with the Quad Cortex, this should be very, very easy to adjust to. It's pretty much the same as what you're used to for tone building, except now you have even more options if you have the accompanying plugins, which I think is awesome. And again, like I said, these are tones I'm very familiar with and I already know I love because my band Carcosa has used them across tons of our recordings that are out there on Spotify and everywhere else. So up next, I'm going to be doing a live one-take guitar playthrough of my band Carcosa's song titled Dissensus. The only other thing I wanted to mention before I get into this playthrough is that I do additionally have a send return block going on in my patch because I am using a whammy drop tune pedal to play this song. Now you can achieve all of the pitch effects that you're about to hear on the Quad Cortex itself using either the Gojira wow pedal or the built-in transpose features, but for this particular instance, my band already has all of the MIDI programs changed for the whammy drop tune specifically, and at the time of filming this, I think the CoreOS update actually comes out in like 8 hours, so I don't really have time to fully reprogram our set using the quad cortex, unfortunately. So I'm going to be using the drop tube pedal, but rest assured, if you want to do crazy pitch effects, you can totally do that in the quad cortex using the new Gojira Wow pedal or some of the other whammy type features that are included in the device. So that's enough talk, let's do it. This is a live one-take playthrough of Descensus.
Conjure a world beyond your wildest imagination with multiplayer battles and virtual realms if you wield the power of Wi-Fi 6E.
I got Google Fiber.
Battle on with
We finally have the new 3.00 update from Neural DSP for the Quad Cortex. Of all days for this to happen, Neural, you have to torture me because today I'm literally flying to Europe for a month of gigs overseas. I'm going to be all around Europe, a bunch of different countries, and I'm flying out. I'm getting picked up in like an hour and a half, so that's why I just have the one wide angle here. And also, if it's your first time here, I do all content on digital gear, amp modeling, profiling, capturing, you name it, I do it. And I also have a podcast called The Silent Stage, which features all different artists using digital gear. You can check that out below. And please consider subscribing if you haven't already, because it says, according to YouTube, that like only 18% of my watch time comes from subscribers. So we'd really appreciate that. I'm going to show you screen grabs and we're going to go through this. So I got both Gojira and Pliny. I'm going to show you, just go through some of the presets. I don't know anything about either of them. So neither act, just because for no particular reason, but also give a shout out. This is called 11 Nights Crunch. It's on each side. Okay, so now we have a different reverb, or it's just very low. Really nice gate. Is this the plug-in gate? Yeah, the plug-in gate's really nice. I mean, you can't even hear it. There's no noise. And it's not choking the notes out at all. Okay, so Electronic Sunrise. Ah, really great lead sound. Oh, that's lead. That's not even the solo sound. Now we have a solo sound.
My name is Ashley Puyol. I am the founder of a small company.
Checking out another
The day
YouTube
has finally
head.
come. You are now able to use your Neural DSP plugins on the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. I've been playing with this for a couple weeks now, and trust me, it is everything you imagine it to be and much, much more. Today, I'm going to go through how I built my ultimate guitar tone and how I fully utilized all the new possibilities in the brand new Quad Cortex 3.0 update. We're going to use a combination of my own captures, like this sidechain gate, which we'll get into in a little bit, and So jumping into the Quad Cortex, right now I'm using the Cortex Control app and it's mirroring everything that I have on my QC over here. And as you can see, I have all of my blocks loaded up for this tone. Again, we have some captures, we have some already existing blocks that were already in there before the 3.0 update. We have some new existing effects blocks that are brought in after the 3.0 update, like this sidechain gate, which we'll get into in a little bit. But you can choose the source of where the noise gate actually gets in. I actually really like the high gain from the amp archetype Gojira, and I've got it mic'd up with a dynamic 57, which is exactly what I've used. As you can did feel that the high gain cab, the third cab from the archetype Gojira plugin, was more suited to this tone, which is exactly what I've used. As you can see, we have the third cab from archetype Gojira, and I've got it mic'd up with a dynamic 57 and a ribbon 160. The dynamic 57 is doing most of the heavy lifting, and I've just blended the 160 at 3 dB less, and it's making up for more of the roundness in the tone. And then the final cherry on top, we have the brand new EQ block with a much nicer GUI this time around that tailors this tone to its final form. Tone and extension of the amp, so to speak. I don't really want to do crazy moves and start pushing things like 3-4 dB. I do want to maintain most of the original character of the tone, so most of the moves are pretty minimal. However, when you put them all together, it does make a really nice difference to the tone. So as you can see, I'm boosting up a little bit of 65 Hertz to bring some more of that sub lows in for dB. That like I feel like it for dB. Personal for a moment, and my true thoughts on all of this. Like, I am so excited as a Quad Cortex on my Reverb identical live, and that will have such a huge effect on not only the authenticity of the sound that comes out of front of house in relation to the original songs, but it's also going to have such a huge effect on the mix of the set as well and how consistent it is.
See, I've got what is it? Nolly demos. I gotta throw that up in Reaper. You're gonna hear it. What is this Microsoft having?
Wow, I just built the most amazing workflow on Monday.com.
You build your own workflow? Why? There are a bunch of amazing pre-made
to a DDoS attack on its Azure cloud platform. The attack then activated DDoS protection mechanisms. Microsoft suffered a global outage yesterday, affecting access to many Microsoft 365 services. According to the BBC, even access to Minecraft was affected.
And Xbox Live, actually.
Unfortunately, Microsoft stated during the outage that Teams was not affected. So close. Meaning that app continues to barely function by design. The company also determined that the outage was due to a DDoS attack on its Azure cloud platform. The attack then activated DDoS protection mechanisms, which, due to an error in implementation, made the attack worse.
Great job, Microsoft.
What is going on over there? This incident comes less than 2 weeks after global infrastructure was knocked out by a faulty software update from cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike. Many businesses are still dealing with the fallout from that outage. The CEO of US-based Delta businesses are by a faulty software update from cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike. Many businesses are still dealing with the fallout from that outage. The CEO of US-based Delta Airlines may be seeking damages of $500 million from CrowdStrike and Microsoft after being forced to ground thousands of flights and reimburse affected fakes recently. Google announced it is updating their search algorithm to better handle explicit AI deepfakes. The changes will make it easier to remove deepfakes at scale and will penalize sites that host such. Company Perplexity has announced they will be sharing revenue with publishers whose content shows up in Perplexity's AI-generated answers. This comes a month after Perplexity got in trouble shooting stars, except instead of making you go, whoa, they make you go, AMD has launched its new Ryzen 5000 desktop processors. The Ryzen 9 5900 XT and Ryzen 7 5800 XT now available at retailers. Unfortunately for AMD, some US retailers also list
thought I just saw one from Vice about. What was it in my history? Yeah, let me look at my history. Some history stuff. This one. What was this?
What can you do with Google Fiber 5 gig? This,
Vice TV.
that, also that, while doing this, and this, and...
Right here, these are Giphies.
This is different than Vice. That's why. Mm-hmm. Hey. I was looking at Vice. So there's Vice and there's Vice TV. Got it. That's why I was tripping. I was like, what happened? This guy's from Austin.
By no means did I know what the end goal was. I didn't think, get a job at Thrasher. It wasn't like on my mood board or, you know, my list. Like, in hindsight, I was kind of prepping my resume for that type of work without really knowing what I was doing, but it was certainly not expected. So whenever Burnett called and offered me that position, it was like... Watching the way he has approached illustration, design, and just art in general, he was a far superior artist ever since I've known him.
You know, he's just a really good person. He's got a pretty crazy sense of humor that's pretty great.
I think he's one of those rare dudes that really has a style. You know, I think his style just comes out of him.
His drawings are softer and sweet, and the way he writes is more just like from the everyday perspective of a skateboard dude.
If you don't know him, he's a super cool person, and anyone can go up and say hi to him, and there's no kind of ego involved, and very down to earth.
He's got a distinct voice across all media, from skateboard to ditch maneuver. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely looking like the summer of Sebin out there. Watch out in the ditches when Mikey S rolls through.
Watch this while I'm doing.
This is our local attraction here. It's just a giant concrete pecan. This is it. Here's a little...
Check out the nollie.
This is the one.
Expires in 7 days.
If you wanted to live in Texas and you weren't into football and being banker or whatever kind of career type thing, Austin was the only place you were going to be living at that point in time, because Austin was like a little San Francisco kind of type thing.
The thing that immediately got me really excited about Mike is he didn't leave. Like, he kind of stayed in Texas. And to me, I thought at that age, well, if I don't move to California, there's no way I can have this job. It all seemed very California-based back then, and was, and still is.
I don't know about you guys, when I was about 12 or 13, that's when I started skating a ton, but I just remember I did not want to be at my house ever again. It was like I just wanted to be out with my friends. Everything I've ended up doing was very reactionary to the community that I lived in. So I think that helped like strengthen my resolve that I was not gonna end up, I don't know, turning into a cowboy. I don't know what the alternative would have been. Yeah, growing up here, we, late 80s, would look at skateboarding magazines, and it was mostly vert ramps. I didn't know of any vert ramps down here, but we had these, so they kind of seemed like a ramp. So we would just try to emulate what we saw in the magazines here in the ditches.
He's a real skateboarder, right? So you're not gonna be a 20 to 30-year-old skateboarder if you don't have some real...
He can still pop the stuff on.
Hustle culture was in him, or you can't do that either, unless you're a trust fund kid, and he's not.
I was very much interested in like skateboard art, so I was following
medical evaluation fails.
Not necessarily just fine artists.
Sudden I started having these just aha moments, and it was like, oh, wait a minute, so you're telling me that other people experience this and this is normal?
Are going to be at the show. They're following the band around. Gave him a staff. He was very thankful, super nice. He got back. I think Mike Burnett was at his house and he handed off the stack.
Faces all scrunched up.
Every issue that you want to be in there, just send your stuff in, you know, have it in by the middle of the month, it'll get in the mag. So it was pretty much just a blank canvas to do what I was doing with the zines, but in the magazine, which obviously literally just rented a downtown space for $500 a month, all utilities paid.
All right.
Camp Fig.
A lot of fun playing with these.
Sense of hanging out and drinking beer.
Having a lot of fun playing with all these toys.
Kind of learning
Let's
from
see.
the shows that were happening and what he was doing. You know, he was definitely more tapped into the street art and skate art world at the time. You know, and so he was bringing in certainly people that had never had art shows in Austin. But no, I mean, being around that scene for sure, like, shaped what I do to this day for sure. It was like, those were some pretty formative years creatively.
Were you putting some of your own artwork up while this was happening? Were you doing shows in there yourself? Was it like more of like friend shows? Was it like, you know?
No, I was definitely trying to showcase my own work. By no means was I in every show though, so it was curating different shows and bringing in artists, and then where I thought I would fit in, I would insert my work, or maybe once a year do a two-person show with a friend. But no, it was very much like a calculated move on my end to get my work in front of people. This is the first board graphic I ever did, which is a dude pooping wearing full pads.
In the words of the great Todd Francis, the only things that sell skateboards are either things that are really funny and make kids laugh, or things that are tough and make kids feel tough.
I was aware of Sieben. I was like a fan of his work. You know, I'd seen his zines, and I didn't really know him though. So I just kind of called him or emailed him or something, and I just told him, I was like, dude, we have an opportunity to do this thing. You know, what are you doing? Do you have any other obligations? And I got him on board, and the whole thing just kind of escalated pretty quickly, and then that was bueno.
There weren't a lot of just like heavy art-driven brands apart from Toy Machine, but as far as a brand who just had one artist doing all the graphics, it seemed like a lot of like logo-driven stuff at this time, a lot of like type treatments and just like more graphic design kind of stuff. We just wanted drawings on the boards.
I mean, and his stuff is it's so screen print friendly and graphic friendly that other people at other companies got to see that stuff and be like, oh man, tell this guy to make something that looks like this.
There was a line of kids' clothes in Target. Swear to God, every image on there, you could find the Sieben source material. The little funky jump ramp, the little teddy bear guy flying off, it was crazy.
The late 80s, it was still like very exploratory, or it was kind of like, what can go on the bottom of a board? What about this weird thing? Anything can go on the bottom of a board. So even if I draw something and it doesn't feel like a skate graphic, I'm like, well, if I can figure out the design or the layout, it could be.
His drawings kind of look, there's a similar note to everything he does, because I think he was kind of meant to do it. You know, there's a natural style in what he's doing that's based probably on how he drew when he was a little kid.
Most kids draw, right? And then a lot of kids stop around 3rd to 5th grade. They just kind of phase out of it. And I think it was something I don't even know if I was necessarily good at it. I just did it a lot. So like I like children's book illustrations. I like this gory 80s skate graphic stuff, and just try to mash them together. So, which I think my stuff still looks like that. Even if I'm trying to draw something that's like gross or creepy, it has this like tinge of like cuteness to it, which I no longer try to avoid. I just embrace that.
There's always a duality, right? You look at it and you're like, oh, these bold lines and these bright colors and these funny characters, but they're always like masked. And there's usually like maybe some text that alludes to kind of a darkness, or like a, you know, like there's another side of the joke.
This is probably the edgiest graphic I have done to date. I don't know if I would do it now, but when I was young and full of angst.
Why do I use Navan?
No one asked you!
It makes managing business travel spend so freaking...
Bueno had been like 100% just my art, so I was just like, what I would be drawing anyway, or drawing for like a painting, or that's what was going on the boards. That thing went so south. It was like such a bad experience when it ended. And I was doing that for a job at that point. It was like, that was my job. And then I didn't have a job.
I mean, the end of Bueno, for me especially, not especially, but personally, that's when I decided to not be a professional skateboarder anymore too. Because I was like, this was the best scenario, and I was bummed, like really bummed, because we really loved it, and people seemingly really loved it.
When you're a young art dude doing a job, like I said earlier, where there's a small amount of people that have the job, if you're lucky to get like a little bit of that job, it doesn't pay well. It just wasn't a big roster of artists that were aiming at something that not only were there not very many people doing it, it didn't pay well. So why would you go that route?
Definitely during that period, a lot of self-doubt of like, well, like, is there ever going to be a moment where something clicks and it leads to the next thing? Because I kind of felt like that's how it would work. You know, like I get one opportunity and I do really well, and then that builds. But there was a long period where there are just no opportunities.
This is, he just sent me some mail. I don't even remember what it was. This was just an illustration that he just did on the envelope, but this became Roger. I lived for a period of time in Memphis, Tennessee, and Roger is from Memphis, Tennessee. So when I was just like a kid skating there, I met Roger. Such a rad skateboarder, and he influenced me a lot.
I interviewed at Girl and Chocolate about potentially working there, and that seemed like not a good fit for me. I just bought a house in Austin. I was like, I don't really want to move to LA right after I bought a house. I love Girl and Chocolate, but I was like, I'm not going to change the face of those brands. I'm going to be working within their parameters to make stuff look Girl and Chocolate. It's like, if we do our thing, it can be wide open.
So when we were formulating what would become Roger, we had like, lists of names and stuff, and then what if we just name it? Like you name a kid, just give him a name. And then that would lead to like being able to refer to it as your friend, Roger, or whatever. And then we were both like, oh, Roger, like Roger Cylinder. But we were like, well, Roger Cylinder is a rad dude, so we can just, it can just be Roger Cylinder, but.
Did Roger know about this when this was
No, I don't think so.
Does he know about it to this day?
I don't know. Maybe he'll see this. We never used his last name, so we don't owe him any money.
Then when we talked about starting a new board brand, I was like, I don't want it to feel like Bueno. I'm going to be drawing everything, but I was like, conceptually, I want it just to feel a little different. So I just started trying to think of like the dumbest visual jokes, dumbest puns that I could make. I feel like Bueno was lighthearted anyway, art-wise, but I was like, I just want this whole thing to feel like a giant joke. Just like, think of the dumbest graphic, draw it, and then make it, because there's no one telling us we couldn't.
We agreed to make one run of boards, and we put it on a credit card. If we sell them, great, we'll make more. If we don't, we got boards to skate for a while, right? We did it and got a pretty good response, sold them. So when we did that, that sort of escalated things, and it enabled us to like make a team and be a little more active.
No, skating for Roger was like the best decision I ever made. It's like a family type deal, which is kind of a huge plus skate-wise, but like, as friends and camaraderie and all that good stuff.
I probably met Sieben 15 years ago. Always looked up to him. He's like a local artist, and he was like one of the cool dudes, You're just like, damn, dude's doing like such cool stuff.
A lot of the Roger team was also the No Comply team also, and this is kind of where we're just working together on things, and he's very tied in with us and our whole community and whole skate scene in Austin, and being his role at Thrasher magazine as well is, it's all pretty awesome tie-in.
Sieben started giving me boards in 2009, which was 14 years ago, and I haven't had to look elsewhere for boards since. I've skated pretty much all of his graphics. I had no idea what Roger was or Sieben. I was familiar with Bueno because of Nate Broussard, but I didn't know Sieben as the artist at all. And also just like a fan of Nate Broussard. So I'm like, Nate Broussard skates for Roger. Sieben, I don't really know this guy, but Nate Broussard, let's do it.
Anthony Merrick. That's
I think more people here than I anticipated, which is great, but also a little nerve-wracking. Yeah, it's terrifying. I didn't know I was trying to get a job at Thrasher, even as like a staff member, but I was actively trying to be an artist. There have been long periods where no one's reaching out, you know, and I'm like,
there's nothing like Canada in the off season. Or as we call it, wander off season, power off season, cast off season, shake it off season, take a bite off season, goof off season, pants off season. Turn your notifications off and forget about your responsibilities and expectations and the crushing weight of doubt and uncertainty and just take off season. So what are you waiting for? Embrace the off season. Enjoy fall in Canada.
The Tech Kit, for those who like to have everything in its place. This clever zip pouch holds cables, chargers, bits and pieces, and carries it all just so. Grab it at bellroy.com.
oh man, these other people are doing these cool things, or they're getting to travel and do art shows, and yeah, moments where I'm like, oh, maybe no one cares about what I do anymore.
If you're doing this stuff to get some sort of a name or money, you're going to have a hard time. But if you're doing it because it's coming from here, take off.
During the COVID lockdown, I started skating a bunch of just little crusty ditch spots I was finding near my house. Started relearning some tricks and doing some tricks I'd never done. I thought, man, that'd be fun to just film a whole video part. I'll be 48 when it comes out.
A lot of this stuff, when you put your name on something, there's several ways you can project that to the public. And you got to find a kind of graceful, humble way of presenting it, because we're not Michael Jordan. You know, we got a pen, it's different. And he's handled all of that really well, I think. And a lot of that, I think, is because he's down to earth, because he never left where he's from, and because he has a fucking family.
I'd been in the workforce for, you know, a number of years. I would work all day, and then I would make art until like 2 or 3 in the morning, like every night. And then I would wake up at 8 and I'd go work all day, and then I would stay up, and I was like making a ton of stuff and no one was responding to it.
You know, he started having a family pretty early and got married pretty young, and like there's a different, even in Texas where the cost of living is less than it is where I tried to do it, like there's a lot of pressure on him to like figure out how to turn this thing that's very not responsible into something very responsible.
I know he'd worked at like weird design firms and he just didn't want to do it. And then I think he kind of hit a wall where he realized like either it was not going to be possible. I remember him just saying, I need a job.
At that moment in my life, my wife and I found out we were having another child. I had been freelancing for a number of years and was just so stressed out. Like I thrived on the chaos of freelancing when I was younger. As I got a little older, I was not thriving with that uncertainty in my life. And so I was already trying to figure out whether I was going to go to grad school and try to get a job teaching, or it was a real turning point in my life. And the managing editor position came up at Thrasher during that time. Burnett told me they were looking to fill the position, and at that moment I was like,
Dun, 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 dun. Every month, this is the exciting part. Here's the thing, Thrasher, as much as everybody knows in their heart what they think it is, Thrasher is actually a lot of different people, a lot of different voices, and a lot of different kind of vibes.
He was just born to run Thrasher magazine. Like, it's as far as his knowledge of skateboarding and just how good he is at like editorial and like journalistic instincts, when we get content, I feel like as he's looking at it, he's already formulating a way that it makes sense in the magazine.
The writing is such a thankless task at the mag, and there's so few people that even want to do it. So just to have somebody who I knew could do it was a big bonus for me.
I remember Burnett asking, he was like, do you want to do this? He's like, it's not, he's like, I don't know what you're picturing. It's not an art job. Like, this is like putting a magazine together.
It was kind of like, well, there's this thing. I don't know if you want to do it. It's like an administrative job. It's not coming up with jokes all day.
I remember Tony Vitello came out. He's like, let's try it. Let's give it 3 issues and we'll see, you know, see how it's working. And then we never had a conversation about it after that. So that was almost 10 years ago. So I think I made it past the trial round there.
Once he realized oh yeah, I have to copy edit the magazine, I think he like took some like weekend seminars and like got a book, which is like initiative beyond and above what most of our people would do.
When I was a little kid, part of what I liked about Thrashers, it was intimidating.
No, I'm really happy I'm here. I never thought I'd really fit in here, you know. Here I am sucking down a light beer.
Making a new debut in society.
I think we gotta start somewhere. We're gonna work our way around 29 Newbury Street, and by the time we make it down to 338...
Yeah, this guy Jake, he's a heck of a guy.
It's like the ladder of success, one rung at a time, slowly but surely.
It was scary as fuck. And the dudes writing the articles were like, we're the guys, and this is fucking gnarly. And I was on the inside of it looking at all those dudes and being like, whoa, they really are that gnarly. You know, like I remember taking like print samples over there to get reviewed, and like, you know, those dudes were intimidating, and I was working for them.
So it's like the Thrasher of the 80s under Kevin Thatcher and Mofo is one thing, and then the early 90s with Jake and Bryce is another thing. And I tempered a lot of what Jake did, and then Sieben brought in like a certain level of silliness into what we do.
I mean, what I write, it's all comical writing, right? Like it's supposed to be humor writing, which was probably not always the tone of the magazine. So I always thought I'd just kind of like offset some of the harder edge stuff.
It's cool to have that kind of voice and that kind of talent as part of what we do, because if it was all tough guys, it's not gonna work. If it was all hell ride all the time. And I remember Jake used to tell him, he's like, hey, everything doesn't have to be funny. And he's like, I don't know, Jake, I like it funny. It's like, doesn't all have to be jokes. So it's good to have that kind of counterbalance.
It was a good time for a more approachable Thrasher. And I think just because it had gotten so fucking huge and the audience had gotten so huge, there was probably hundreds of times more kids reading it than there was when he and I were growing up on it. And he's just more down to earth. I think it made the audience feel like, oh, like, I don't have to be gnarly to look at this.
I think the people who were responding to what my contribution to the mag, which was not everybody, probably some people thought it was stupid or shouldn't be in there, but it seemed like it was younger people who also enjoyed art and humor. It gave us fellow art dorks a little a moment in the mag.
And it's not like the gnarly voices that he and I grew up on aren't as important, but I like thinking about the young kid that's like studying him, you know what I mean? And how down to earth, and like, he's got an important voice and people are listening.
Once we had him, I was always trying to get him to do stuff, and then he's like, I don't like to try to do anything that's supposed to look like anybody. He was like, what's he supposed to look like? And I showed him the picture, and I'm like, he's from the desert. So he wrote, from the desert, Brian Herman. I know when I'm bugging him, because he goes, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. I know when he's annoyed with me, because that's what he says. So I've picked up on that over the years.
I don't know if, like, you know, the universe has these plans where everything, but I've felt like career-wise, it seems like things have always kind of come in waves like that, but some of it's probably like you start working on something and your name's being thrown around, and then someone else is like, oh yeah, that person. Maybe we can get them to jump in on this thing.
All the
but
difference.
In the last...
Let's do the
heart is like riding ditches, drawing pictures of creatures dreaming about ditches, things like that.
Hi, I'm Michael Sieben, Vice President of Roger Skateboards Corp. I had worked on a project with Adidas where we did a little short video piece that accompanied some shoes, which was my first time, other than just making little skate videos, in front of the camera. And I think Volcom was like, oh, that turned out pretty cool. And I was doing a lot of work with Volcom anyway, so they wanted to do something that felt episodic. But they just put the ball in my court. They're like, do you want to work on a show with us? We'll provide the platform, we can partner with Thrasher and make something. And the thought of it was terrifying. So I was like, I should probably do that. And I didn't know what I was gonna do because I didn't know how to film, I didn't know how to edit. And I was like, I guess I'll figure it out. And I bought a little camera. And then I remember making sketches. I was like, I'm gonna call it the Internet Shack. I'm gonna build out a corner of my studio to just look like a shack. And I'm gonna talk about the internet, maybe like critique stuff. I had no idea. And at that same time, Mike Aho moved back from Costa Mesa to Austin. And he's a very accomplished videographer who works for Volcom, but he was like, maybe we could team up on this thing. And I was like, yes, that would be amazing. So it started out as just being this like really.
I don't know why it's not working unless this is.
Show. We were both kind of like really into
Oh no.
summer at the time, and
Is that what I
just
think
kind
it
of, like,
is?
envision this world where that could be some kind
Yeah,
of
that could
thing
be.
that's like a skate version of that, I guess. You know, kind of an amalgam
Go
of
ahead.
a bunch of shit.
Make sure
you
we
know, like
put the
everything from Saturday morning terrible sitcoms
Rabia
stuff, like
VST3
really obvious laugh track.
version.
Picture this. You're sitting at home alone watching YouTube videos, wondering why you can't find the motivation to do the things you need or want to do or change in the ways you'd like.
And dude, this fly.
We had to turn in one a week, so it was like we didn't really know what we were doing. And then it just kind of fizzled out. We just never revisited it, and we always discussed it. It's like it's a little bit of a able to talk to taking out a bunch of shit up and in front, everyone up to speed on.
I don't know what I'm doing.
There's something about it that feels like you.
Sounds so cool. What so we got, let's try. And it sounds crazy. Did I just remove it? Fuck.
I sometimes forget, but I'm really lucky to get to work with him because he's so talented, but he's not hell-bent on showing off. He doesn't need to be the center of attention. He doesn't need to be like the star, and I think you can kind of see that in the stuff he produces.
Yeah, being in the sponsor me tape or whatever the content is, a lot of
how could I not be able to I told the dude. As time went by, like maybe a few months
Rabia's default crunch.
it's on.
Amazingly 90s kid. Just go through some of this stuff.
That's always been my thing, you know what I mean? It's like everywhere
I got a single goal. I like that tone. I like that.
skating.
What else is on the YouTubes?
Using what I have in my fridge.
The brand new M4 Mac Mini models are coming in just a couple of months, and they are going to be by far the best Mac Minis ever, with huge updates and changes, making them finally good enough for including the pricing and the release. Chip that is already inside of the M4 Pro, same as the current Mac Mini.
Man, that fucker's loud.
Performance, like looking at the single core, we're gonna have if you care a lot about
I'm sleeping. I'm going to bed later, guys.
Pro model, which I'll get into in just a second. And now moving on to the second major change, I believe that the new M4 Max